Hello, my name's Louise and we're up to lesson 44. Year 2 phonics, morphology focus today. Let's start with our definitions. So, morpheme. A morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning within a word. And a base word. A base word is the main part of a word and it holds the original meaning. A base word can be a word on its own. Remember that start, prefix? A prefix comes at the start of the word and it changes the meaning of that base word. A prefix is not a word on its own. And then let's review those prefixes that we've already learned. Starting with re. Re means again. Un. Un means not or opposite of. Dis. Not, a part, or absence of. Do you remember the actions? Not, a part, or absence of. And sub means below or under. Excellent. There's a lot of revision in today's lesson. Now we'll go to our suffixes. So remembering a suffix comes at the end of a word to give the base word a different meaning, but a suffix is not a word on its own either. Let's review the suffixes that we've previously learned. So ing means happening now. One, who, or comparison. Oops, I lost it. That was ed, meaning past tense. You remember that one? I'll pick it up in a minute. S means plural, more than one. Less means without. Li means like or how. Full means full of or having. And suffix y, full of or inclined to. And est means greatest or more than or most. Really good. Last definition is our root. Now, a root is part of a word and it cannot generally stand on its own. A root needs another word part, like a prefix or a suffix, to make it make sense. So let's look at those roots that we have previously learned. So tract means to draw or pull, and port means to bring or carry, and form means to shape. Well done. I already gave you a bit of a hint about our learning intention today. Our learning intention today is we are going to revise the suffixes s, es, ed, and ing. So these are suffixes that we use quite a bit, but it's a really quick revision today. Before we go on to the first activity, let's come over to our board and have a bit of a reminder about our consonant suffixes. So our consonant suffix starts with a consonant, of course. So let's read through. We've got s, full, and li. Obviously, they're a consonant suffix because they start with a consonant. Remember that rule about when we're adding a consonant suffix? When adding a consonant suffix, we keep the E. So we're talking about words that end with the letter E. We know when we're adding a consonant suffix that we keep the E. Okay, I would like you to write these 3 words in your book, and I'd like you to then write the words again, but adding the consonant suffix S. Pause and do that. Look at this. Here are the answers again. It's really simple. It's just a refresher for you today. So when you add that consonant suffix S to the end of these words, you need to keep that E. So right becomes rights, wriggle becomes wriggles, and wrinkle becomes wrinkles. Great. Bear with me. I'm just going to change this over now because we've done consonant suffix. Now, what do you remember about adding a vowel suffix? So here we have our vowel suffix. What do they start with? That's right, a vowel. Ed, ing, and What do we need to do with words that end with an E when we're adding a vowel suffix? When adding a vowel suffix, we drop the E. Okay, now we're going to practice this rule that we just talked about. So what I would like you to do is write these 3 words down on your page. And when you've done that, press play again and I will tell you which suffix to add. Write the words. All right, these are now written on your page. I would like you to add the suffix to write. So write will become writer. Can you use this rule and write the word? Go. Next one, wriggle. I would like you to add the suffix ed, as in past tense, ed. So wriggle will become wriggled. Please write the word, wriggled. Pause me if you need a bit more time. Last one today. Wrinkle, I would like you to add the suffix ing, wrinkling. So wrinkle will become wrinkling. Write the word. When you're ready, press play again and I'll have the answers up here. Okay, how did you go? Did you remember to use that rule? When adding a vowel suffix, we drop the E. You wouldn't want to see 2 E's here. It would look really unusual. So, write becomes writer, wriggle becomes wriggled, wrinkle becomes wrinkling. Excellent. Check your work, give yourself a tick, make it an enormous one. And let's go on to our next task. So just a reminder today that lots of our WR words this week don't end in an E. So we are just going to add the suffixes onto these words. So when adding a vowel suffix to many of our WR words, we just add ed, s, or ing. So please write these down into your book. Add the suffix, write the whole word, and then come back to me. Go. Time to check your answers. Have a look here on the screen. So wrong becomes wronged, wreck becomes wrecker, wrench becomes wrenches, ring becomes ringing. And you see on all of those, check your work. So look up to the screen and look down to your page. Check that you just added those suffixes onto the words. Great. We have one more rule to revise. So this is the doubling rule. So a quick reminder of the doubling rule here. So we use this 1-1-1 doubling rule to add suffixes to words that are a 1-syllable word. They have 1 short vowel in them and they end with 1 consonant. So 1-syllable word, 1 short vowel and 1 consonant. This week in our WR words, we actually only have 1 word that fits this pattern and it's wrap. Repeat the word, wrap. Tap and say, r-a-p. Tap syllables, wrap. So it is 1-syllable word, wrap. 1 short vowel, a, and ends in 1 consonant. P. So here on your screen now, you can see a reminder of the doubling rule and how to use it with the word wrap. So when adding ing, wrap would become wrapping. When adding ed past tense, wrap would become wrapped. Last one, when adding wrap would become wrapper. So you can see here, it's the only word we have this week that we can use that 1-1-1 doubling rule. Final task for today. This takes a little bit of setting up in your book today. You are going to need to draw 4 columns in your book. At the top of each of those columns, you need to write out the rule for each of our suffixes. This is a revision lesson today, so it's really good to practice writing things a number of times and reading them a number of times. And you know, when we're learning by rote a little bit there, when you're doing something over and over, it helps make that lodge into our long-term memory. So remembering, we need 4 columns. You do need to write out that whole rule at the top of the column. When you've done that, come back to this screen again and then use the words in the top 6 boxes, add the suffix, and then place them into the column of the rule that that word follows. There are lots of steps in our instructions today, so you can rewind me and listen to them again just to make sure you've got your layout correct and where to place these words correct. Take your time, concentrate, really think about the rules, place the words in, and come back and we'll check our answers. How did you go with your setting out? Did you see that there's an anchor word at the top of each of the columns to remind you of the rule? Excellent. All right, let's do it together now. And as I'm doing it, you can check your answer. So right becomes writes. So we're just adding that consonant suffix. So we keep the E. So writes is in this column. Next word, wrapper. Okay, what do we have? It was one of our 1-1-1 rules, remember? Wrap, 1 syllable, 1 short vowel, 1 final consonant. We're going to add ER, so we need our doubling rule. So wrapper right on the end column. Okay, rect. Rect. We're adding the consonant ED, and we don't need to change anything here. We're just adding our vowel suffix. So rect over here. Ringer. So ringer. What do we need to do here? We just need to add that consonant suffix. Do we need to change anything? No, we're just adding that vowel suffix onto the end of our word. Ringer. Okay, wrecking. Need to change it? No, we just need to add that vowel suffix on. The base word stays the same. Nothing needs to change because it's not ending with that E. So, wrecking. This column here. Use your powers of deduction here. There's only 1 space left on my anchor chart. So that will help us here too. Write becomes writing. We're adding a vowel suffix, so what do we need to do to that E? Yep, we do. We need to drop it. So we get rid of that E and add our vowel suffix. Write becomes writing. Fabulous. Check your work, look at the screen, look at your book, make sure it's correct. Reward yourself. Smiley face, superstar, big tick. You decide. Well done. So that is the end of our task work today. So we're just going to review that learning. So our learning intention today was a review lesson. So we reviewed the suffixes s, es, ing, ed, and all of those. Great revision work there. Our independent task today. Today, you need to look at your screen now And what you are going to do is you are going to see 4 pictures with an explanation word, and you need to write the whole meaning under the correct picture. Excellent. Thanks for joining in today. I'll see you next time.